All right. I think this is enough viewers, really. Not expecting to cover anything particularly new to anyone, but I'm redoing the explanation of everything for the NA stream. I understand that a lot of North American people were asleep at the time of Roger's initial stream, and since I'll be managing the North American streams for the rest of the tournament as well, I may as well get this one out of the way as well. So... well, that's fair, Roger, that stream was a bit of a fucking nightmare. As I think everyone by this point is very much aware, the first week is on Altic's map. It's a neat map, a lot of slopes and things like that. Obviously, we have had some small map issues already, but I think that we're pretty on top of it. Too many slopes is definitely a matter of opinion, but it is a fair one to have on this particular map. And this map, as you might expect, will be running for 1 week. I'm not sure what we're really expecting times to be or anything, but it'd be pretty fun. And I guess, honestly, I don't need to cover the map much. You've all played it by now, pretty much. I'll move on to the donators. We've had some donations since the last stream, and now we've moved up streams on 350. It's fucking insane. PX $333, so those two have upped their numbers, bringing us up to quite a high prize pool at this point, and honestly, without people donating that much, this tournament wouldn't be quite as amazing as it is. So huge thanks to those guys. I think Matter also put in some money. Not totally sure, I haven't really been keeping track of it. That's not my job. Yeah, excellent. So yeah. Have you donated, Alex? If you're not in the list and you have donated, then terribly sorry. We'll be on that very shortly. Hi fellas, Dynamic, Shiny Shuck, Lily, Imp, who else has said hello? Cool. Yeah. Alex Kronos donated $20. Thank you for your contribution. And I don't actually have a page for the distribution. I really should, so terribly sorry about that one. Been working overtime to try and get this stream up and running and ready for right now, but ended up 40 minutes late anyway. The overall prize pool distribution, I think, is in the Discord at the very least, but I can get it out on stream. I think... oh, it's in the match arena. You don't need to be a competitor to donate. Contributing to good competition. I can do that. Thank you, Roger. So first place will get 50%, $850, which is an insane amount to think about for a bunny hop tournament. But this is, I guess, the world we live in. The community has decided to make this a real thing rather than, you know, paying for pride. Second place will get 20%, so $340. Third is $255. Fourth, $170, and fifth, $85. Which is honestly, I would play a tournament if the first prize was $85, let alone $850. So yeah, no, that's pretty cool. Although I think only the top 5 are in the money, so you'll all have to try very, very hard. How's it going so far with the servers? The servers are going pretty well. I think the tournament is going quite nicely. We've had a couple of yes, there've been a couple of small issues which we've been working out. I think we're pretty much on top of it all. I don't think there's any unknown and unsolved issues with the servers. Hopefully we don't encounter any new ones, but we will see. But I would like to thank you all for your patience, because obviously it's all a bit hectic on our end organizing all this. They are saving, they're just not displaying, I believe. And that should be fixed, yeah. This looks like an OSU background. Yeah, I suppose it does. Alrighty. So, had a good look at the donators. Alright. See Alex. At this point, there's not a huge amount else to cover beyond the general format of the tournament, which I think you all know, which is 1 week map and 8 maps. Currently on the first week, first map by Altic. Times are synced between servers, yes. They absolutely are. Make sure to get your questions in here, because you don't have the slow timeout or whatever in this chat, and I can answer you immediately. So, I don't have a page for the mappers. I probably should have sorted that out as well. Why aren't times being shown to everyone? That's because we don't want people to know what kind of times other people are looking at. So, in theory, we would like everyone to have to completely, from scratch, make up their own routes, and by the end, in theory, the best players will win. They will have come up with the best routes and managed to land them. And a lot of B-Hop is copying other people's routes and learning skips from other people. There's a lot of information sharing in the community. But that's not really what we want from this tournament. Please pronounce name for me, please, TY. Your name? Is it like a rude name or something? I'm trying to say it. Oh, the map name. I was gonna say, I mean, I feel like I won't be pronouncing the map name. Altic decided to make it something that was very embarrassing to attempt to pronounce. So, it's just Altic's map. That's all it is. Sorry. I don't know why he decided to name it such a boring thing like Altic's map. But, you know, there it is. what can I do? If that's all he decided to name it, then that's all he decided to name it, really. You will have a leaderboard at the end of each week, updated for the week that just passed. But during the week, there won't be any indication of who is currently winning or where you place, or anyone else. So each stream at the end of the week will show the top between 10 and 20 times, depending on how many good and interesting runs we have per week. And we'll go through those on stream and possibly commentate them a bit. And maybe even have an interview or something. Not interview, but, you know, have a bit of a talk with the mapper about what their thoughts were on the map, if we can get a hold of them, which some of them might be harder than others. It is like a Mampu map name, yes. Is that how you pronounce it? Mampu? Mampu? I don't know, man. Even the dude's name is too hard for me to pronounce. I'm not pronouncing this crap. I believe they are both Finnish, yeah. Finnish is so far out of my comfort zone when it comes to pronunciation. It's just gone. It's just out. Is it possible or allowed to practice the map on land? No. So, yeah, and that's the plan for the future streams. Just going over the times that everyone got, who got them, you know, and what points people are on at this point. And yeah. The other thing that we'll be keeping track of, although this is not an essential part of BHWC World Cup by any means, but we're doing a fantasy league. Da-da-da-da. The unofficial Staff Fantasy League. Nobody else is really participating in this. Feel free to if you want. You can adopt the same standards that we've set up for this ourselves, but overall, we'll just be keeping track of it for the staff. And general idea is that each player was assigned a points cost based loosely on how they're expected to perform in the tournament. So everyone who was fully signed up by the time that it was made, plus one or two others, was given a points cost and allowed to be picked by any of the staff, and then the cost, as it's written here, is then added or subtracted from the final points tally. You can have a negative cost, which results in a bonus points for the person who picked them. Yeah, and the general idea is that each person will pick 5 players, and the points that those 5 players accrue across the tournament are then added to the final tally that staff member's fantasy league is awarded. And at the end of the week, sorry, not the end of the week, the end of the tournament, the staff member with the highest fantasy points wins. So, I will now go through everyone's fantasy picks and place pressure on the players who have been picked. If you didn't get picked, I'm sorry, but there are a lot of people to pick, and a lot of us have really boring expectations. The points... What do they win? Nothing. Nothing at all. Pride over each other for being much, much better at predicting how good people are at BHOP than the other staff. Nobody who we pick will win anything outside of if you win enough points, you can get into the money. That's the standard tournament format. This is completely unofficial. So, moving on to Aimer's predictions. He picked Mac for a 150 points cost. Then he grabbed Dream, Lemon, and Pez, all for 50, and picked up Nishi as well for a 0 cost. So Aimer is left with a total of minus 300 at the start of the tournament. I'm sure he'll do alright, although I'm personally not such a fan of his picks. But I think at least 1 or 2 or 3 maybe of his picks have got a good chance to win some points. Most of us picked people who cost us stuff, but we'll see how this continues. Did I not say Pez? Sorry, Pez, I don't know if I missed you or something. Next we have Orcs. He picked Newdun for 150 points cost, Dream for 50, Nishi for 0, picked up Fellow for a bonus 50 points, and Weird Angus for a plus 150. It's controversial whether or not Weird Angus should really be a plus 150, but this is how it was decided. Anyone who's in the plus 150 range doesn't really want to be there, probably. But yeah, the estimations were made that this is how people were going to perform. I'm sorry to say, Fury, you're not in the plus 150 range. I don't know why you would want that, but you're not. So Orcs' final tally is 0, which is a good start. A good start for him, ending up with no cost, although we will see if his players can get the points that he needs to make up for the fact that he doesn't have an enormous amount of terribly strong players, but you never know. Moving on, we have my players. I picked up Chris and Mac both for 150. I think they'll get me plenty of points. Toomey and Snipsku, who I have lots of faith in, although I've never spoken to either of them. And I picked up Purdy because he was 0 points. That man is worth 0 points. At least. Hi, Snipsku. How you doing, buddy? Good talk. Good talk. And I think I'm expecting to get at least a couple 100 points over the course of the tournament, so hopefully my minus 400 start doesn't hurt me too much. But I didn't go as heavy as some others. Like Eric, for example, who has picked up Chris and Newdon for minus 150, and then Dream, Snipsku, and Mad for minus 50 each, arriving at a negative 450 points at the start. Eric does appear to have a bit of an EU bias here. His picks are very sensible, although there's a lot of points to be made up for him. Moving on to Pim and his picks. He picked Chris and Mac for minus 150, Dream, Snipsku, and Pez for minus 50 each. That's a total of 450 lost points already. And yep, he's got this. He's got a long way to go as well, but I'm sure that his team can pick that up for him. Pez is in the chat and can attest to the fact that he's definitely going to win 50 points. Him, no doubt about it. Moving on, the Rogers picks. Roger picked up Mac for minus 150. Picked up Dream for minus 50. Matmo for 0. Muta for plus 50. And Super 01 for plus 50. Roger's on a total of 100. 100 negative. And yeah, Roger, I think, is the only one to pick an Australian who isn't Mac. Oh, no, sorry, I'm totally wrong. Someone picked Weird Angus. I forgot. You don't pronounce it as Muta? How would you say it? Dali. Muta? Muta? Oh, hey, he's in the chat. He can tell me. Fucking hell. Yeah, Muta, dude. Muta? Mew? Whatever, dude. Muta. Hell yeah. I got it. I got this shit. Fucking calling me out for being correct. Respect Croc because best bunny hopper in Portugal. Sure thing, buddy. Matmo is going to farm the mega points for you. I'm sure he'll have at least 8 points by the end of the tournament. I'm not NA. I'm streaming for NA. Yeah, and I have an NA accent. This is what an NA accent sounds like, by the way. I'm actually Texan. Is that what people from Texas call themselves? Texan. I'm a Texas Ranger. Yeehaw. And moving on to the final staff, Unity has picked up Mac for minus 150, SK for minus 50, Zeddy and Chronum for 0, and Snooper for a plus 150 points. Giving Unity's total at minus 50 for the start of the tournament. Unfortunately, that is all of the picks. But I'll give you an overall of where everyone stands at the moment. So we have Orcs in the lead with 0 points, Unity with 50 in the drain, Roger with minus 100, Aimer minus 300, myself minus 400, and Eric and Pim at the bottom with minus 450 points to make up. There's no pressure on you, Dynamic, whatsoever. You were in the pool of players to pick, and for your information, you cost 50. Cool, you were not 150 plus. You were, I think, a plus 50 maybe. Did you miss the start of this stream? Fury, I think you might have been a 0. I can go back over it, but roughly here's the explanation. Yeah, everyone who was signed up when the tournament started has a point score. Yeah, just go over the whole thing again. We're 30 minutes into this stream at this point. I'm not convinced that it's worth it for me to go over everything I've covered so far. You may just have to watch the VOD, or you know, You had 2 streams. You had 2 streams to try and catch this shit. Appa, I think your score might have been a plus 50, sorry. Plus 50 points. Not totally sure on that one, but I don't have it open. So, yep. That's the overall final standings of the Fantasy League until the end of... There was not a plus 100 and minus 100. There were originally going to be, but it just made it a little complicated, and we were having difficulties putting people in accurate costs, because it was, you know, the more specific you get, the more people will disagree, and so it's just 50 and 150 and 0. And that's the end of the what would you have been, probably either a 0 or a plus 50, minus 50, sorry, IMSA. That's the end of the Fantasy League explanations. Once again, we're back to week 1, and I hope that everyone has fantastic luck in landing an incredible world record or whatever on this map. So far it's already been very interesting for me as a spectator, and I'm really excited to see what the final runs are. And yeah, as Turok says, this is only the first week of 8. So don't forget to tune in every week and hop back on if you've decided to give up on the map or anything like that. Are those picks for the week or the entire tourney? It's the entire tournament, dude. We can't change them now. We are relying on our players. I'm possibly going to allow a change of players at like week 4. But you won't be able to pick up any points that your new players have gotten in the previous weeks or anything like that. So yeah, if you weren't in anyone's picks, then there's no pressure on you. If you were, then there's absolutely pressure on you. The staff are watching you and need you to pick up points for them. Are you showing any runs this stream? No, I'm not. The first stream that will show runs will be next Friday. For the NA people, it will be Friday 7 PM CST, which I hope is okay for all of you NA fellas. I don't know. I don't know how it goes, but that's the time zone that we've picked. I hope you're all going to be there to watch the top 20-ish runs. Might be between 10 and 20, probably. If there's more than 20 runs, I'll probably just show as many as I think are really good and interesting. But the plan is to shoot for 15 to 20. Only the top 15 really get points. I think 14 and 15 will only get 1 point. Number 14 and 15. Everyone below that who submitted a run will get a point. However, you need to be placed higher than 14th in order to get more than 1 point. And I think I'm safe in saying that if you're not getting more than 1 point a week, you're not really in the runnings to win the tournament. But don't let that discourage you, because it's honestly just fun. Outside of the enormous amount of money that our fantastic donators have put into this, it's just good fun to try out these new maps that the team has worked hard on making. I don't have a list of our mappers here, but our mappers are... we have Altic, obviously, for the first map. And then in no particular order, because we haven't really announced or even... Oh, we have decided, but we haven't really announced the order of the rest of them, but the other mappers are Arctic Panda, Amp, I think, yeah, Orcs, Roger, Nally, Thorox, and myself. And we've all been working quite hard to make some fun maps, and I hope that everyone will show up to at least try them all out each week. And that honestly concludes this stream, I think. We don't have much to cover here. The streams where we go over runs will be a little longer because we have roughly 20 runs to go over, and we'll be putting in commentary with possibly talks with mappers or other staff. And that's really all there is to it. So, if you're in the Discord, then you know how to get to the tournament, and you'll know whether or not you're competing at this point. I think technically the signups are still open, but I'm not sure about that. Please don't quote me on it. But they won't be for long if they are still open. It is 8 weeks, 8 maps, yes. I'll answer any more questions, and then I'll end the stream. So, yeah. No Zyper maps, this is true. Unfortunately, Zyper, I don't think you signed up to be a mapper in the early days when we were looking for mappers. No show? Oh, no showers, yes. I mean, no one will want to beat you if you're standing at the end zone smelling horrible, right? Everyone will just get near the end zone and turn around. Stip donated. What a monster. Thank you, Stip. We're at $1,800 now. 1,800 United States dollars. Auto is scripting, which is the only true style. Yeah. That's an opinion that some people have. Good on you, Dynamic. I wish you all the best of luck in the tournament. And honestly, I'm having a lot of fun watching you guys. Is the prize being split between a top number or just number 1? I have covered this already, but I'll cover it again. The top 5 are in the money. So first place gets 50%, which at this point I don't know how much that is. I guess it's $900. Second place is 20%, a much lower cut, but they still get quite a good amount of money. I don't know how much that one is, sorry. I guess I could figure it out. It's probably... is it 400? I don't think it is. Like, what, 300 and... I don't know, whatever. Third place is 15%. Fourth is 10%, and fifth is 5%. So I think fifth place will get $90, fourth will get $180, etc., etc. So, yeah, it is going to change pretty regularly as donations come in, although we obviously aren't going to just assume that people will continue donating, although at this point the tournament is very much big enough that nobody really needs to donate. Yeah. The winner is getting very close to getting $1,000, which is terrifying. And I wish that I was competing. But at the same time, I don't wish that I was competing because fuck trying to compete with some of those guys. Good on you, Appa. Alright. Thank you all for tuning in. This has been the American restream of the introduction stream. Hope to see you all playing the tournament. And I wish you all good luck. Thank you.